Hello guys, welcome back to channel Get to Byte. I hope you all are doing great and are well. Now from this video onwards, a proper tutorial series will be started on how to write embedded C code and do bare metal programming on STM32 based microcontrollers. I know that it's been in demand from the day one when I have uploaded the first video on my channel. People have asked and have told me to start a series on this. So now here Get to Byte, presenting you the full embedded C and bare metal coding tutorial series, and also many other small and another interesting conceptual videos will be there about STM32 microcontrollers and ARM processors covering the Cortex M series. So now before proceeding, one needs to know that there are basically two things that we should know before proceeding further with embedded C code on STM32 microcontrollers. First thing is the hierarchical structure of the STM32HL libraries, so that one can get to know what all libraries one needs to include in a project, and what is the peripheral memory map and the header file, and to understand the concept of the CMSIS and their header files, which will be included in a bare metal code. Another one is to understand the clock configuration of STM32 microcontrollers, which are different for different family of microcontrollers. So as in our different microcontrollers of STM32, we have different internal peripherals, and their ARM Cortex architecture is same, but we have different core processors, ARM Cortex M0, M3 or M4. So depending upon that, our clock sources also varies from microcontroller to microcontroller. So we need to understand that the microcontroller which we are using, we will open its register data sheet and understand how its clock source works and about all their working. So now that's two things are first which we will going to do. And for the first part, for the hierarchical part of the STM32HL libraries, I have already uploaded the video. You can find the link in the description, and do check out the video to get to know about STM32HL libraries, their hierarchical structure, and brief knowledge about files used for STM32 project creation via STM32Cube. So the link is in description waiting for you. Do watch it and mention down your views or doubts in the comment section. In this video, we are going to start with the clock sources. I am using STM32F103 microcontroller. So going to proceed with it. So now without wasting time, let's proceed. So guys, this is the reference manual for our STM32F103 register descriptions. As you can see here, that it includes all the peripherals and their register descriptions with details of how those peripherals work and their internal features description with all the explanation. So this is very handy and important document when you are doing embedded C or bare metal coding on STM32 microcontrollers. For STM32F103, the reference manual number RM008008 is 008 is the one. So now moving to the reset and the clock control configuration, that as we can see, our STM32F10 is the high density device. As in our blue pill, we have the flash memory range in between 256 to 512 bytes. So now moving to the clock control. In the clock control, we can see, okay, so for a clock, so moving to the clock control, in my Instagram account handle of the Get to Byte, I have uploaded a post in which I have told about the important units of the system clock in STM32 microcontrollers. So as you can see here, this is our low density, high density, and reset and clock control, and in the brackets RCC. So first thing is, what is RCC? So RCC is a peripheral in STM32 microcontrollers which are used for configuring the clock sources inside the microcontroller and to distribute the proper system clock to the desired internal peripherals and monitoring them, and for the reset signals. So RCC is the peripheral which monitors the all clock sources and its control and monitor them. And in the RCC we have two clock sources. We can have either internal clock sources or external clock sources. These clock sources are what are the crystal oscillators, which we see as 16 megahertz in our Arduino boards or in ESP8232 or 826 boards. So we have clock sources of like internal or external. If internal clock sources, like here it is internal clock source, LSI low speed internal, and if LSC or HSC are the external clock sources. So these clock sources are used for power for as the clock source for our MCU core and the internal peripherals. Now what does MCU core includes? Our Cortex M processor or Cortex M0, M1 or M4, and the peripherals of those processors like NVIC or debug or our DMA and all such things. And the internal peripheral blocks are those which are UART, SPI, timers. All these are the internal peripherals of the microcontroller. So from these clock sources only we fed the clock signals either directly or indirectly to these MCU core or internal peripherals using the 4 PLLs. Now what is PLL? PLL are the phase locked loops which are used for achieving the high speed frequencies in our microcontrollers. So we can either directly fed these MCU cores and internal peripherals from these internal or external clock sources, or via the PLLs for achieving the higher frequencies. Okay. Now for our STM32 microcontrollers of F103 class, there are mainly for driving our system clock. We have 3 clock sources, HSI, HSC or the PLL. Okay, and there are 2 additional clock sources for powering and for providing clock signals to our peripherals like RTC, auto wake up and the independent watchdog, that are LSI RC and the LSC crystal oscillator, which are external low speed clock sources. Okay, so now if you move to the CubeMX, you can see here also that this is our main system clock from which all the peripherals will be getting the clock signal distribution, and this will be monitored by the RCC peripheral. Now this can be powered from HSI, HSC or the PLL CLK, which is a phase locked loop clock signals. And these are the LSC and the LSI. These are the clock sources for powering our RTC module. As you can see here, this is for RTC clock, this is for IWT, the independent watchdog, and all such things. Okay, so now the first thing which we need to do is, first we need to fed our system clock, because from this system clock only all our GPIO, UART, timers, CAN, SPI, I2C, these peripherals will be getting the clock. So first we need to configure the system clock. Now by default it is directly powered from the high speed internal RC oscillator, that is of 8 megahertz. And if you need that, we will be providing from the external high speed crystal oscillator, like that is the oscillator which is present in your blue chips. Okay, so point is that system clock, first we need to decide from which clock source we need to power, HSI or the HSE. If we are powering with the HSI, then we are going to directly fed, or we are going to fed via PLL. If we are going to fed via PLL, then we need to first configure that whether we want to divide the prescaler value, that the 8 megahertz for the HSI we have prescalers of 0, 1, /1 or /2, and for HSC there are a lot number of prescalers. Like in the pinout and configuration in the high speed, you just click on the crystal ceramic oscillator, and now you go to the clock configuration. Now you can see HSC is enabled. So if you go to the HSC, there are clock divider, so we need to configure these things. Divider we need to provide. Then after PLL, so input, in the PLL input we provide the output of our clock source, HSC or the HSEI. Then we have to configure it by what multiplication factor we need to increase our clock frequency. Like if I now click on PLL, so my system clock is now 104 megahertz. If I want, I can increase it to 16. Now it will be too much. Okay, if like 4. So now that how I will be configuring. Now once I have provided my system clock, then I need to configure my EHB, internal bus clock sources, that is AHB and the APB1 and the APB2 prescalers. From there on, all our internal peripherals will be getting the power source. Now to start, I hope you have got the rough overview that what are steps we need to do for clock configuration and why those steps we have to do. So now moving to the register description part. So now going to take a quick view for the different clock sources which we have. Like in the HSE, there are two ways: HSE external clock, or we can use the external crystal resonator. So there are settings which we need to do, that like for the bypass clock source, we have to set the HSE BVP and HSE on bits in the RCC underscore CR. And if we are using the resonator thing for our external high speed clock, then we need to just set the HSE ON bit in our RCC underscore CR, and the monitor the HCE RDY flag to know that whether our oscillator is being functioning in stable condition or not. So this is the thing which you are actually going to use for our code. Now if you are powering your microcontroller, your system clock with the HSE, then you have to do its calibration correspondingly. Like we have to set the HSI underscore RC can be switched from the HSI ON bit in the RCC underscore CR register, and monitor this HSI RDY for its stable thing. Okay, same way out we have the LSE clock in the LSI clock, which are configured according to their LSE on bit in the RCC underscore BDCR for the LSE clock. And for the now, like same in the HSE, LSE can be used for external in the bypass form, or it has the external resonator. Okay, so that thing we have to configure. And now the thing is, for the PLL we have to do the two operations before proceeding, three operations, that we need to set that whether our PLL will be used or not, and what will be its source, HSE or the HSI. Then we need to configure the divider, LSI selection of HSI oscillator divided by 2, or HSE oscillator for PLL input clock. Now this input clock to the PLL will be multiplexed to the higher frequency, so we have to also set the multiplication factor. Now all these things will be done in the RCC underscore CR register, which I will be discussing with the code in the next video. So that's just and another thing is, like there are different features. Now for RTC in the watchdog, we have to configure, we have to power this from a LSC, from low speed internal or external clocks. And for a system clock, we will be powering from either HSI, HSC or the PLL clock, and depending upon whether we have divided by 2 or 1. And we can output our clock source to the microcontroller pin for checking it via the oscilloscope, or for just viewing that what exactly our microcontroller is operating at. That can be done by the clock out capability on the MCU pin. Okay, so that's it for now. In the next video I am going to start with the, like, you must have got the basic overview of the clock features, configuration, and what all things are there in the RCC peripheral of our STM32 F103 microcontrollers. In the next video, we will implement the things which we have discussed in this video. We will write the code for RCC peripheral for configuring our clock, PLL, and run the system clock by using the RCC peripheral registers, and run the GPIO peripheral by providing it the system clock signals from the system clock in its subsequent video. So that's it for now. Like the video, subscribe the channel, and press the bell icon to get notified for new videos, and share it with your friends.